She glanced back up at the ramp, but she knew she had a better chance of pushing the car up herself than actually driving it. Snow was gathering quickly, the thick white flakes coming down fast, and the incline was steep. She was, Hannah realized with a hard pinch of panic, stuck, stranded. After a few seconds' reflection, she turned off the car to save gas. Although why she needed to save gas she didn't know, since she most certainly wasn't going anywhere. And without the defrost blasting, the interior of the car quickly plunged into an Arctic wintriness. Her cell phone, naturally, had no signal. "This isn't good," Hannah said aloud. For the first time, she genuinely regretted her impromptu flight from civilization. And why had she driven 300 miles, for heaven's sake? She'd noticed on a sign along the highway a few miles back, only about 10 miles from the Canadian border, and she didn't even have her passport. No, the truth was, she hadn't been thinking at all. Just driving, the endless stretch of gray highway as soothing and numbing as an anesthetic. She'd been running away from Blake and his subtle sneers, and all of the guests of the party with their sly glances and knowing looks. At that moment, standing in the glittering foyer of Eloise's house, she'd felt as if the world she inhabited was unbearable. She'd wanted only to escape it. Not just Blake or anyone else at the party, but the whole environment. Everything had felt toxic, from the murmuring guests to the elegant canapes to the sideways looks sliding her way. But Hannah didn't want to think about why or what she'd left now. She needed to think about how she was going to get out of this mess. In the few minutes that she'd wasted wondering and remembering, snow had started to pile up on her car. Without the wipers working, Hannah could no longer see out the windshield. In an hour or less, her little rental car, practically a tin toy, was going to be completely covered in snow. Another shiver ran through Hannah's body as she realized how freezing it now was in the car. She'd taken her suitcase with her, but she didn't think she could manage changing into warmer clothes in the confines of the car. And she wasn't about to go out into that tundra. She grabbed her coat from the back seat, a wool cherry-colored swing coat that definitely wasn't the best choice for this kind of weather. But she'd bought it to be fashionable, not waterproof or even warm. She hugged her coat around her, wondering whether she was supposed to stay in the car and await rescue or venture out in the Arctic unknown. She felt that this was something she should know, something one read about in safety manuals. But the truth was, she had no idea what to do. She was a city girl, born and bred, and countryside meant Central Park. But she needed to do something now, because the alternative was freezing to death. Twisting around in her seat, Hannah unzipped her suitcase and pulled out a pair of skinny jeans. She kicked off her stiletto heels and wriggled her way into the jeans, heaving them over her hips. She grabbed a cashmere pullover and a pair of ankle boots that owed more to fashion than sense, inwardly cursing her foolish clothing choices. But then she hadn't expected to encounter a blizzard. What had she been thinking, driving this far? Too late for regrets or recriminations. Right now, she needed to find a solution. Taking a deep breath, Hannah pulled on her boots and then stepped out of the car. The cold air hit her like a slap in the face, a shock to the system. Her breath froze in her lungs, in her nose. Her cheeks stung with the snowflakes that looked soft and white from behind the windshield, but when hitting her face, they felt cold and sharp. Her heels crunched in the snow, and her feet were instantly soaked. The jeans and coat were scant protection against the elements, and Hannah knew she had about 5 minutes to figure something out before she froze to death. She raised one hand to shield her eyes from the steady snow and squinted into the darkness.